Hi, in this video we're going to have a look at how to create a rig system so that when we move this set of wheels with treads, the wheels will rotate. And then we're also going to have a look in the next video at how to make the tank tread rotate along with the wheels. Alright, so let's get started by getting those wheels rolling. So I'm going to go over to the quad view here, and right now I'm just going to hide my shadow catcher because it's just kind of in the way. And I'm also going to hide my tank treads. So let's hide the shadow catcher and the treads. Now we're just left with the wheels. Oops, I turned off my material. Don't need to do that. Alright, so now I just have the two wheels. That's the first thing that we'll get going here. So I'm going to add a new locator, and I'll call that front. And I'm going to add another new locator. I'll call that back. Oops. Well, there we go. That back. And then let's just, I accidentally made an extra mesh item there. I'll just delete that. Okay. Alright, so now what we want to do is we want to do two things. First of all, if I look at this wheel mesh here, its position is zeroed out, but it's moved. And same thing this one. The position is zeroed out, but it's moved. So what I want is I want the actual mesh, the actual polygons within the mesh to be centered, but then I want the mesh item itself to be centered where these pieces are. So I could just take these and go to my center selected on the X, and then it's going to be centered. But then we're going to have to kind of really guesstimate where that is to get it to fit into the tread properly. So we're going to do something else here first. I'm going to start by grabbing the polygons on either side of the wheel so that I can align my work plane to that. So I'll go under work plane, align work plane to selection, and then I'm going to go to item mode. I'm going to grab my front, my front locator here. I'm going to go to the Animate tab to Setup, and I'm going to set the front to work plane position. Alright. Now I'm going to do the same thing here, but with the back one. So put those there. Then I'm going to align my work plane to that. And then I'm going to go to Item Mode, grab the back one, and set that to the work plane position. Alrighty. So now let's go back to our model view, and I'm going to take first of all the front wheels here. Let's reset our work plane first so we have a normal up and down. Oops. There we go. Like I had everything a little upside down. There you go. So let's take our front wheel, get myself back right side up here, and now I'm going to select all these polys. I'm going to go center selected on the X. And then I'm going to take the front wheel mesh, and I'm going to drag it into the front wheel. And as soon as I do that, you can see that the position offsets significantly here. So I'm going to take the X at 0, and it's going to drop it right into place. So I'm going to do the same thing with the back wheel. I'm going to select the mesh item, and select those polygons, center selected on the X. And then I'm going to take that back wheel mesh and drop it into the back. I'll just take this, zero it out, and we are set. So now we can double check this by turning our tread back on, and we should see pretty good alignment still going on, which we do. So those are set up now how we want them. So I'm going to grab here all of this stuff, and I'm going to move this up here, and just to keep my scene tidy, I'm just going to organize this a little bit. Keep my folders, my lights, and my camera items separate from my mesh items. Alright, so now I want to make it so that each wheel is going to roll based on the position of their corresponding locators. So we're going to go over to our Animate tab, and I'm going to start with the front wheel here. and under modifiers I'm going to add a channel modifier. Now you might have this default to the add user channel. If it does default to that and you see add user channel, just hold down the button and then you'll see add channel modifier. And here in this long list of stuff that you can do, let's choose revolve and we'll click OK. Now you can see that this added a revolve modifier to this. Now, one thing to note about the revolve modifier is the direction axis. Now that's the direction that you want it to roll. So what axis you want this to roll on. Right now it's set to Z, which is that way, which is not correct. We want it to roll along the X. So I'm going to change my direction to X. And then I need to know the radius of the wheel. So I'm going to select the wheel here, and I'm going to go up to View and pull down to the Dimensions tool. We can see we've got 769.6 millimeters. Now my math isn't that great off the top of my head, so I'm going to go in here, type in 769.6 millimeters, and then just divide it by 2, and let Modo do the math for me. That's much easier. Okay. All right. So let's then set this up now so that this will actually work. Because right now, even with that revolve modifier on there, it's not going to do any good because it's not set up to do anything. So I'm going to open up my channel links there. The button's right underneath that channel modifier. And what I need to do is I need to set up two relationships. One, I need to have the revolve slave into the position of the front wheel, and then the angle that the revolve is related to the rotation of the wheel mesh. Okay? Clear as mud, right? Well, let's actually do it, and it'll probably make sense. So I can load a driver and then a driven for each of these in the channel links. So I'm going to take the front locator and choose load driver. I'm going to take the revolve modifier and load driven. Now I'm going to choose the world position for the for that front is going to affect the position of the revolve modifier, and then I click add link. Now it's created that link, and you can see here once you do that, you see the arrow going out means that that is driving something, and the little sprocket thing here means that something is being driven. Okay, now I need to load. Now I need the revolve to be my driver, so let's swap these. And then I'm going to select my front wheel mesh, and I'll load that as the driven. So now if I choose the angle output for my revolve modifier, and then for my driven, I'm going to choose the rotation Z, and click add link. Okay, so now let's select our wheel, hit W, and nothing happened. So there must be an error here with what's going on. So let's make sure that we've got everything correct. This is X, 100%. Alright, let's check our links here. And I'm sure I just loaded something incorrectly, so let's check the driver here, driven. And this should be, I'm going to remove this link here. So if you choose something that has a link output and select remove link, it's going to break that link, which is what we want here. And then I'm also going to load up the wheel mesh, and as the driven, and choose this. Oops. There we go. Choose this, and I'm going to remove that link as well. So let's try this again here. The revolve is going to be the driven, and the front is going to be the driver. So world position to position, and add a link. Then we'll go flip that so that we have our revolve now here in the front. We'll choose our wheel mesh, load driven. We'll choose the angle output to the Z rotation and add a link. There we go. So sometimes it helps to break it down slowly. You can see there's one issue, and that's that the wheel is rotating backwards, which, believe it or not, is not a big deal. Simply select the revolve modifier, click negative axis, and now it'll roll the proper direction. Now we could take this and just duplicate this. We could build this entirely again. So let's actually, just so we can go through building another one here, let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to choose, now we're going to choose this. I'm going to add a modifier, and oops, I want to make sure we have our wheel mesh selected. There we go. We're going to add a channel modifier. I'm going to make it a revolve. And click OK. And I remember this was 384.8, so I'm going to set in here 384.8 millimeters. I want this to be along the X, the direction axis. Now I will select the revolve and make that the driven. I'll select the back wheel locator and make that the driver. And we'll choose the world position and the position on the revolver and add a link. We'll flip that. We'll choose the wheel mesh. We'll load the wheel mesh is driven. We want to send the angle output to the Z rotation and add a link. So now, and of course it's happened again. So if this does happen, you have one working right. Let's look at the other way of doing it. I'm going to take all these and delete them. Yes, I want to delete everything. Now we're going to get this guy here, and I'm going to choose duplicate hierarchy. So it's going to duplicate everything that was underneath that as well. And I'm going to set my position to the negative. I'm going to put that in the right place. Now this one already has the modifier on it. And I'm actually going to take both of these. I'm going to add, let's see, a new locator. I'm going to parent both of those to that locator. So now I have one piece to grab, and that will make everything move. The other thing I'll do is I'll attach the tread into that locator as well. So it's not going to rotate yet because we haven't set up the texture UV to rotate, but we will be able to get it to move along with our wheels. Alright, so hope that helps. Hope you don't get that to stick for you like I did, but just to quickly walk through it again, you have your parent locator, you have your mesh item, and then you have your revolve. You'll load the revolve as the driven, the locator as the driver. You send the world position on the locator to the position on the revolve. We can open up our channel links and see that if we want. So here are, oops. You can see our world position goes out to our position, and then we swap that. We'll see that our angle output goes to our Z rotation, and that's all. We just have to have our negative axis going because it was rolling backwards, and that's okay. And then we have our correct radius, and we are ready, literally, to roll. So see you in the next one where we'll make the tracks rotate.